Have you ever felt that time moves differently inside you, as if part of you keeps aging, while another part stays untouched, just watching everything unfold? Science has a name for that feeling. They call it biological time, the clock written in your cells. But thousands of years ago, Thoth described it another way. Man is rhythm made flesh. When the rhythm is lost, the vessel begins to crumble. What if aging isn't decay, but simply the loss of rhythm? Modern scientists call it systemic coherence, the ability of your body, mind, and energy field to stay in perfect sync. Thoth called it the eternal pulse, the vibration that keeps every living thing connected to the source. Because when rhythm is remembered, energy returns. And when energy returns, something inside begins to awaken. Something ancient. In the laboratories of today, from Stanford to the HeartMath Institute, researchers are finding what Thoth encoded in the emerald tablets thousands of years ago. That your body is not a machine made of parts, it's a field of frequencies. And every emotion, every breath, every thought changes that field. When the field falls out of rhythm, your biology begins to age faster. But when rhythm is restored, your system reorganizes. Cells remember how to heal. Time begins to flow differently. Thoth never spoke of immortality as a fantasy. He spoke of it as a state of harmony, when human rhythm aligns with cosmic rhythm. He said, "Life does not end, it changes motion." And what scientists are finally realizing is that aging is not linear, it's rhythmic. When your internal cycles are disrupted, cells lose synchronization and communication. But when you restore rhythm through breath, sound, focus, the body remembers its original tempo. That's what coherence training at HeartMath has shown again and again. When the heart and brain enter rhythm together, over 1,400 biochemical reactions shift within minutes. Stress hormones drop. DNA repair enzymes activate. The immune system strengthens. Not magic, just resonance. Thoth wrote that the human body is a temple of light built to translate energy into matter. Each cell, he said, is a scribe, writing the story of the soul into flesh. And modern epigenetics confirms this. Your DNA is not fixed. It's constantly rewriting itself based on the information it receives, emotional, environmental, and energetic. Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, Nobel laureate and researcher at UCSF, proved that the length of your telomeres, the ends of your DNA strands that determine cellular youth, can be extended by meditation, emotional coherence, and compassion. Exactly what Thoth described as aligning with the rhythm of the heart of the sun. He wasn't speaking of astronomy. He was describing biology. Imagine this. Every emotion you feel sends a frequency into your bloodstream. Anger shortens your cellular rhythm. Gratitude expands it. Fear contracts your DNA field. Love releases it. Ancient priests under Thoth's order used to chant frequencies in chambers carved from granite, using sound to restore this rhythm. Today, scientists call it vibroacoustic therapy, using specific sound frequencies to trigger regenerative processes. Different words, same truth. Because when vibration changes, the entire system follows. But there's something deeper that most people still don't know, and Thoth hinted at it again and again. He said, "Man forgets, and in forgetting, begins to fade." What if aging is simply forgetting? The body forgetting its original frequency? What if rejuvenation is not adding anything new, but remembering what was already there? That's the key hidden within Thoth's teachings, and now rediscovered in the language of quantum biology. Every cell in your body emits light, measurable photons called biophotons, and those photons pulse in rhythmic patterns when you are in balance. When you fall into stress, that rhythm becomes chaotic. The light dims, literally. But when you return to coherence, the rhythm stabilizes and your light strengthens. This is what Thoth meant when he said, "The fire within man is the fire of the stars." This isn't just philosophy, it's measurable. In experiments at the University of Vienna, researchers found that living cells emit coordinated bursts of light during healing processes. That same synchronization, that rhythmic flicker, can be induced through meditation, sound, and emotion. So when Thoth spoke of remembering the light within, he was not being poetic. He was describing a biological reality, that light and rhythm are the language of life. And that's why in the temples of Egypt, initiates practiced breathwork aligned with planetary cycles. Not superstition, synchronization. The ancients didn't worship the stars, they synchronized with them, because the same rhythm that moves the stars moves the blood. The same geometry that shapes galaxies shapes DNA. You are the cosmos condensed into rhythm. You are the star remembering itself as human. And that's where Thoth's message and modern science finally meet. Because when you enter that rhythmic state, when your breath, heart, and awareness align, your biology begins to reverse entropy. You literally begin to rejuvenate from the inside out. Researchers now call this process negative entropy, or self-organization. Thoth called it simply the renewal of the vessel, and that vessel is you. Breathe. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your pulse. That rhythm isn't just keeping you alive. It's reminding you that you are light moving through form, that you are not decaying, you are dancing. And when you remember that, everything begins to change, because life doesn't end. It reorganizes. Time doesn't destroy. It teaches rhythm. You were never meant to fade. You were meant to remember. I am rhythm and light. Every ancient culture spoke of rhythm, but Thoth didn't just describe rhythm as music or motion. He described it as the architecture of creation itself. He said, "In every beat lies the secret of life's return." To him, rhythm was the key that could open the gates between decay and regeneration, between matter and light. And that same key, modern science is now trying to describe through data, graphs, and molecular pathways. Because when you observe living cells long enough, you'll notice something extraordinary. They pulse, they breathe, they oscillate in patterns so precise that missing a single cycle can alter everything. That's the first rhythm Thoth spoke of, the rhythm of breath. Breath is not just oxygen exchange, it's an ancient synchronization signal. When you breathe rhythmically, slow, coherent, balanced, every system in your body begins to align. At the University of Wisconsin, neuroscientists observed that breathing at a rate of 5 to 6 breaths per minute synchronizes brainwaves across both hemispheres. Your nervous system calms, your cells receive more oxygen, your heart rate variability, a direct measure of biological youth, increases. Thoth described this perfectly, thousands of years before machines could measure it. He wrote, "He who masters the rhythm of breath masters the tides of the world." Because breath is how you communicate with the field, the invisible architecture surrounding your body. Every inhale draws energy in. Every exhale sends information out. And when you breathe rhythmically, you tell your cells, all is in harmony. That's why in the ancient chambers of Saqqara, Thoth's initiates practiced polar breathing, aligning inhale with magnetic north, exhale with magnetic south. Today, scientists would call that geomagnetic entrainment. Same practice, different language. When this rhythm stabilizes, inflammation decreases, DNA repair increases, and your body begins to remember its younger state. The ancients said that light and consciousness are one. Modern physics is beginning to agree. Inside every cell, mitochondria, the engines of your biology, release photons of light. Not metaphorical light, real, measurable light. Biophotons. When you are stressed, that light becomes chaotic. When you are calm and coherent, it becomes rhythmic, like a heartbeat of illumination. Thoth called this the inner sun. He said that within each person burns a spark that never fades, and the moment you align with that light, your body reorganizes itself. At the University of Kassel in Germany, researchers found that human DNA emits up to 10 photons per second when in relaxed coherence. But under stress, that emission drops dramatically. The cells literally shine less. So when Thoth instructed his disciples to turn the gaze inward until the flame steadies, he was teaching the art of internal light coherence, a practice that keeps your biological system radiant and young. Because when light flows rhythmically through the body, repair accelerates, mitochondria operate more efficiently, telomeres stabilize, and aging slows. This isn't superstition. It's biophysics, the dance of light inside living matter. If breath is the messenger and light is the medium, then the heart is the conductor. In every mystical tradition, the heart was described as the seat of the soul. Thoth went further. He said the heart was the throne of rhythm, the place where human and cosmic cycles meet. In 1991, scientists at the Institute of HeartMath made a discovery that changed our understanding of the body forever. They found that the heart produces an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain's. And when you feel emotions like gratitude or compassion, that field becomes ordered and powerful, measurable up to 8 feet away from your body. That order, that coherence changes everything. It influences brain waves, it harmonizes hormonal systems, and it sends a rhythmic signal to every cell, telling them how to align. This is what Thoth meant when he said, "The heart is the mirror of the stars." When your heart rhythm synchronizes with cosmic rhythm, you enter what he called the living temple. In that state, your biology shifts from entropy, breakdown, to negentropy, renewal. This is the secret rhythm of regeneration. Let me share something. A few months ago, a researcher from London named Ava Morgan participated in an experiment combining rhythmic breathing and heart coherence. She was 52, tired, foggy, constantly fatigued. She described feeling like she'd lost her inner pulse. For 21 days, she practiced a 10-minute routine. Slow breathing, heart focus, repeating silently, "I am rhythm and light." On day 11, something shifted. She described it as a gentle humming moving through her chest. By day 21, her sleep normalized, her chronic pain faded, and her biological age, measured through saliva methylation testing, reversed by 3.7 years. Her doctor was stunned, but Thoth wouldn't have been. He would have said, "The vessel remembered its song." Because when you reintroduce rhythm, the body doesn't need to be forced to heal. It remembers how. Here's what's remarkable. Epigeneticists at Harvard found that nearly 80% of gene expression is influenced by environmental and emotional signals, not by fixed DNA code. That means your biology is listening, every second, to your thoughts, to your breath, to your rhythm. When you live in chaos, your genes express chaos. When you live in rhythm, they express renewal. That's what Thoth was describing when he said, "As above, so below, as within, so without." Every time you align internally, the external world begins to mirror that harmony. Every time you breathe with awareness, your cells realign with cosmic order. You are the bridge between the infinite and the physical, and your rhythm is the language that keeps them connected. When you begin to embody this, something subtle yet profound happens. You feel time differently. Moments expand. Clarity deepens. You feel younger, not because of vanity, but because the body is no longer fighting itself. You return to coherence. You return to Thoth's code, and deep within, a phrase starts to echo. "I am rhythm and light." Every repetition strengthens the memory. Every breath amplifies it. Every heartbeat broadcasts it to every cell. Here's how to begin. Simple but powerful. Step 1. Breath rhythm. Inhale for 5 seconds. Hold for 3. Exhale for 5. Hold for 3. Repeat for 4 minutes. Step 2. Heart focus. Bring your attention to your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Visualize soft golden light expanding with each pulse. Step 3. Light declaration. Silently repeat, "I am rhythm and light," for 5 minutes. When you finish, remain in silence for 2 minutes. No effort, no thought, just awareness. This is the moment when your body integrates the new signal. This is the point when your DNA listens. Practice once a day, morning or night. Within weeks, you'll feel subtle shifts, more vitality, better focus, deeper rest, because you'll be syncing your biology with its forgotten rhythm. Science will call it coherence. Mystics will call it awakening. Thoth would call it remembrance. But in essence, it's all the same, because the moment you remember your rhythm, your body begins to act like light again. It stops decaying, it starts creating, and creation is eternal. I am rhythm and light. They say truth hides in plain sight. But Thoth never hid it. He engraved it, in geometry, in rhythm, in the very pulse of existence. And now, as science begins to rediscover what he encoded, the message becomes unmistakable. The secret of rejuvenation isn't buried in temples or laboratories. It's inside you. The ancients built pyramids to mirror the structure of the human body. They aligned chambers to the frequencies of the stars, not to worship the heavens, but to remind you that your own heart beats in cosmic rhythm. Because Thoth said, "The temple of the divine is not built in stone, but in flesh that remembers its own light." And that's what you are. Light condensed into rhythm, learning again how to move as one with creation. In the last few decades, science began catching the echo. Researchers studying quantum coherence noticed something strange. When atoms vibrate in harmony, they exchange energy without loss. No resistance, no decay, only perfect flow. Biologists found the same principle in living tissue. Cells in coherent state communicate almost instantly. Their membranes vibrate in unison. Information travels faster than chemistry can explain. Thoth called this the temple of light, a body so attuned to its own frequency that every cell sings the same song. When that happens, time slows. Entropy reverses. Regeneration becomes natural. You don't fight aging, you simply stop feeding the noise that causes it. That's what modern scientists now refer to as quantum biophoton synchronization, the exact condition where biological order restores itself. And in this perfect rhythm, the line between spirit and matter dissolves. For years people asked, was Thoth truly immortal? The real question is, did he need to be? Because immortality, as he described it, was never about escaping death. It was about remembering continuously. He said, "That which remembers itself cannot perish." And maybe that's the truest definition of eternal life. Not a body that lasts forever, but awareness that never loses its connection to the rhythm of creation. Every time you breathe consciously, you remember. Every time you align with gratitude, you remember. Every time you speak truth into silence, you remember. And each act of remembrance rewrites the body's code. DNA reordering, light reorganizing, time reshaping itself around your awareness. You don't grow younger by chasing youth. You grow younger by syncing with the pattern that never aged, because rhythm never ages, light never dies. You are both. Thoth wrote that man is a mirror of the cosmos, and mirrors, when aligned correctly, amplify light. They don't create it, they reflect it endlessly. In physics, that's called resonance feedback. In mysticism, it's called divine memory. Both describe the same truth. When your awareness reflects the original rhythm without distortion, energy circulates infinitely. That's why when people enter deep states of coherence, they report glowing skin, clarity of thought, emotional peace, because light moves freely again. The system is remembering itself. So the more you remember, the more your biology reverts to its pristine template. The more your heart synchronizes, the more you glow. Thoth wasn't teaching religion. He was teaching self-synchronization, the art of restoring the cosmic pattern within the human form. Listen carefully. Your breath, your pulse, your thoughts, they are not random. They are instruments in a greater orchestra. And the moment you tune them, the entire symphony of your life changes key. That's why you've been drawn to this message. Not because it's new, but because it's ancient, and your cells recognize it. You didn't come here to learn something. You came here to remember something. The code is already within you. It never left. It only needed rhythm to awaken. Now let's put this into practice, a small experiment that Thoth himself would have smiled upon. Close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, and whisper within, "I am rhythm and light." Say it again, not as words, but as remembrance. Feel the pulse beneath your hand. That's not just blood moving, that's the original frequency. The same rhythm that moves galaxies, the same beat that began before time was measured. Every heartbeat says, "I remember." And the more you listen, the more you feel it. The connection between breath, thought, and the vast intelligence flowing through you. That's the code. That's the eternal pattern. When modern scientists study genetic reprogramming, they describe something called information resonance, how energy fields influence molecular structure. When mystics speak of divine remembrance, they describe how intention alters vibration. Same process, different language. What Thoth called the word of light, science now calls frequency coherence. What he named the temple of man, we now call the human biofield. What he described as awakening immortality, we now observe as biological rejuvenation. You are witnessing the moment when both worlds meet again, the language of silicon and the language of stone, finally speaking the same truth. The ancients were never primitive. They were the first scientists, mapping the invisible before microscopes could prove it. And Thoth was their voice, the scribe of cosmic rhythm, the bridge between light and flesh. Now, as you listen, take one deep breath. Let it be slow, deliberate, full of awareness. Inhale rhythm, exhale light. Again, inhale rhythm, exhale light. Every repetition imprints this frequency deeper into your cells, because your biology listens to emotion more than to words. It listens to rhythm more than to reason. And when your rhythm matches harmony, life flows again. This is the code of Thoth. The code of remembrance. The code that turns flesh into light and time into teacher. You are not separate from the universe. You are the pulse through which the universe knows itself. And when you remember this, aging no longer means decline. It means transformation. It means rhythm shifting form. Because rhythm never ends. It only changes tempo. Before you leave this space, I want you to do one simple thing. Write in the comments below, I am rhythm and light. Not to agree, not to impress, but to anchor this remembrance into the collective field. Because every time a human declares truth, that frequency strengthens across the network of consciousness. And when enough of us remember, the rhythm of the world itself begins to heal. So breathe, remember, and carry this frequency into your day. Because every breath you take, every thought you align, every word you speak in coherence is the echo of Thoth's eternal message that the secret of life was never hidden. It was pulsing in you all along. I am rhythm and light, and the universe remembers through me.